Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bxb'S Bonus Babble, Episode 6, the third and final E3 special episode, in which in this episode, we are looking at the last three conferences. I say in inverted commas because Nintendo's really wasn't one of those, but we got Ubisoft, we've got PlayStation, and we've got Nintendo. And with me today, I have my E3 co-pilot, Joel.
Hello.
And special sort of semi-regular guest here on this particular group of bonus Babble episodes. We've got Richard, who's literally just run in the door, thrown his audio equipment at his laptop, and went, I hope this works.
I've literally just got in the door from work, put my gym jams on, and I'm with you. So feel blessed.
Yeah, we are. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag video games. Hashtag E3 2017. There you go. There's some hashtags for you. That doesn't work in audio, does it? That's not going to help in any way. No. That's fine. That's fine. So, we're going to try and keep this to around an hour, though I suspect we'll run over. We ran over yesterday slightly as well because of how many games there was at Xbox, wasn't there, Joel? Holy shit, that was a lot of games to get through. So we're going to start off, we're just going to get into it, Ubisoft. Straight at the top, I'm going to say this has been my conference of the entire show so far. This presentation, I loved it. I loved the Frenchness. I always love Eve coming on. And I just love the passion and the enthusiasm and the genuine love of video games that was encapsulated perfectly with what they opened the show with, the legend of Shigeru Miyamoto walking out to like a wrestler's entrance. Like I expected pyro and like the pop was massive and he comes out, he's got a gun and it's just like, yep, Rabbids, Mario, XCOM. It's fucking happening. And who would have thought that's what we were going to get of those franchises having a baby? Like, honestly, what the fuck? You guys both seen all this? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think anyone predicted that, or at least they wouldn't have done if it wasn't leaked beforehand. But saying that, we just got promo shots, didn't we, a couple of weeks back?
We knew there was going to be a Rabbids Mario game, but we did not know it was going to be XCOM. Like,
that's mental.
Wow. And also August 28th. So it's only like 2 months away. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have it. And I really want to you guys have got Switches, which will help when we talk about Nintendo, because my coverage of that was a lot of it's a game.
I did pick up on your recaps on the way home on the bus, and a lot of it I'm sure I should care, but I don't know why.
Yeah, pretty much for Nintendo. So I'm glad you're both here. You're both more Nintendoites than me. But Joel, I know your reaction to this. You were talking about it in terms of game of show, best announcement thus far. You're pretty hyped about this. You're feeling this?
Yeah, I think there have been rumors circulating for a little bit about some sort of collaboration involving Mario. With the guys down at Ubisoft, but and then obviously the images leaked, but still didn't really give away what the game was going to be. And then yesterday, it looked like a Nintendo game. So it's kind of weird to think that that's developed by Ubisoft. I'm sure Nintendo obviously had a bit of oversight and stuff, but yeah, it looked fantastic. It looked beautiful. And it had really good looking humor and that kind of stuff. It was making me smile and giggle a bit as it went through the trailer. And then when it got to the real core of the gameplay, the combat, you're just like, oh yes, this looks amazing. I love these kind of games. This is going to be perfect on the Switch, I think. So really looking forward to that.
What I really enjoy as well, when we had Eve and Miyamoto on stage back to back, Lethal Weapon with their one-to-one replicas, just like we're old dudes that love video games. And at one point they cut to the game director for this particular title, and the guy's in tears basically with for his love of Mario and the fact that he's been allowed. Nobody would have imagined working at Ubisoft that he would ever get to make a Mario game, and the guy is like in tears of joy over that experience, and that sense sort of just permeated the entire presentation. An absolute love of video games as an art form and as entertainment. And I can see why they left Aisha Tyler at home and they decided to focus on the developers, because they were the real star of this show, and the stars way more than any of the other conferences. Like, they really focused on the people behind the games. And I think that's awesome. Make these people into rock stars, make these people the focus of these types of shows. I dig that. I really love that. But we should probably move along. We then got some more Assassin's Creed. And you know that's what was surprising for me actually was how brief the showing of Assassin's Creed was at Ubisoft, and how it's like, yep, we showed this at Xbox. You know this is going to be good. This is looking great. It's Assassin's Creed. We're not going to hang around. What did you? I mean, we didn't have you, Richard, for Xbox, obviously, but you know, what did you think of the Assassin's Creed showing so far at the show in general? Like, did it excite you? Are you hyped for a new Assassin's Creed?
Well, I'm hyped for what it means for Xbox One X because I thought it was a good showcase for the technology. What struck me about the Ubisoft conference when they talked about Assassin's Creed was how much it challenged them to reinvent Assassin's Creed. I don't believe them for 1 second. Because when it gets to the actual gameplay, that looks pretty much the same as every other one. That might explain why they didn't give it too much coverage. They can overstay their welcome with Assassin's Creed every year at E3. It gets too much coverage. I'm glad that it didn't. Too much.
I think there's some significant changes happening to ACO here. I think that menu system, there's going to be some real loot. It had a Destiny-esque interface to it. The combat seems Witcher-esque, like they're going for a more of a sort of a heavy-hitting kind of combo kind of system. Yeah, it will. The proof will be in the playing. Like I was talking to Joel about this back in the prediction show. I have played and completed every Assassin's Creed game released. So I am a fan of that series, without a shadow of a doubt. I wasn't won over with the Egyptian concept, but now I've seen these videos, I've seen this gameplay. It looks lush. It looks like quite an exciting world. I love how they're integrating the eagle motif into the gameplay. I think that's a really cool thing to do because the eagles have always played a large part in Assassin's Creed, but in a very sort of tangential kind of connection to them. So I'm pretty hyped for that. So. Joel, anything you wanted to add about ACO before we move on?
I didn't think much of the, they presented it in the Microsoft conference. We talked about it already yesterday. Was kind of just a bit more of that. But right at the end of they had some live gameplay on the feed I was watching, and I got to sit and watch someone fight a hippo underwater with a spear. So, I've never seen that before in a video game. I actually thought the hippo was going to slaughter him. But no, he beat the hippo. So there you go.
Hashtag UBE3, hashtag dreams come true. There you go. So,
there you go.
And now we moved on to a bit of a surprise, right? We predicted and has been rumored the Crew 2 was going to be at Ubisoft, and then they started to show it. But this game looks like a massive departure from what the first Crew was. The only seeming kind of connection being it's going to be across large portions of the United States again. But it seems to be on this they've moved, like, first of all, it looks way better than the Crew 1 did, and then secondly, they're kind of doing this cross motorsport element, the idea of like racing planes and boats and off-road vehicles as well as road vehicles, and there's going to be a real like kind of like Steep did for mountain-based sports. They're kind of trying to do that with the Crew, and I thought that was hugely ambitious. Looks like that could be a lot better than that first game was. That first game was pretty bad.
I'm going to be a bit down on it, Ben.
Go on, that's all right.
Strike you as a bit Ubisoft because they just don't know when to stop, do they?
That's why I love them, man. So much ambition.
They don't
so
know
much
where to end. It's like they had a driving game that already overreached. Didn't it have stupid tower defense nonsense in it?
No, it didn't have tower defense, but it did have. You're talking about unlocking areas of the map by. It was like they were like satellite stations you drove out to, and then that would unlock more of the map. Yeah.
Right.
It was a great road trip simulator. The only problem I had was as a driving game, the driving wasn't very good. So that's kind of where it fell down for me. It just the cars didn't handle great.
Well, this is my worry, though, right? Because if they've expanded their repertoire to encompass boats, planes, whatever else is in there, bikes, have they focused it enough to really improve on what they did before? And if it wasn't good enough to begin with, I think this is going to be another jack-of-all-trades game that Ubisoft typically do, ram as much as they possibly can into it, and none of it will be especially high quality.
I mean, it's a smaller scale, and we'll talk about Steep in a bit, but I think what Steep did with wingsuit, skiing, snowboarding, and paragliding is the closest parallel you can draw to the Crew, and I think they really pulled that off with Steep. I thought it was a really fun and chill experience. I'm not actually sure I am a fan of the direction they seem to be taking it in, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty. Did Joel? Did you get a chance to play the crew at all, or
No. I asked you about it last night because I wasn't aware of the first game much and things and what that meant. And it looks like I'm getting ambushed again.
Oh, yay! We've got our new special member of the podcast.
It's all right. My wife will come up and grab him in a minute. But yeah, so I didn't play the first one. I thought coming at it from a fresh perspective yesterday, the trailer. I didn't think it looked too bad. The trailer looked quite exciting. It looked like it's got lots in there. I certainly. Look. What are we going to look at?
I got a sticker.
Is that something for Ben? It says number 2.
That works on many levels. Young son burned me that effectively across the internet. He doesn't even know me.
Go and find Mummy. And what was I going to say?
I don't know.
So it looked like it's got some quite exciting elements and things, but it's got a lot that it's going up against. Like, I looked at it and I couldn't work out exactly what it is. It looked like it was a kind of Grand Theft Auto style, but with a bigger focus on the racing aspect of it. That's kind of what I guessed from it. But I'll wait and see. Obviously, everyone's now sort of kicking out these kind of racing games. You got EA did Need for Speed that looked quite good. You got Forza 7. You've got the Crew. So it's gonna be quite a crowded marketplace.
I don't think there's.
Though, isn't it?
It's just race. I mean, it's just driving about. It's not just racing. It was a case of in the first game there was a lot of exploration involved with like going around the United States. They did a really kind of an interesting kind of caricature condensed US where you could drive coast to coast and literally like all areas were represented in a kind of condensed but still unique way. Like you'd know when you were in the Midwest because it would be flat and farmlandy, and then you'd know when you were in California because you're by the beach and there's like the vineyards and stuff like that. So yeah, and the major cities were all represented as well. So I thought it was ambitious enough this time. They seem to have really taken it to 11. Like Richard said, it's a fair concern that they're trying to do too much. So it will be very interesting to see how much they pull off. We then got South Park, and as a huge fan of South Park, and I even tweeted #callgirl because I thought that was amazing.
That was hilarious.
Made me laugh so much. But yeah, I can't wait to play that game. I'm so glad it's finally coming out. I'll mention it now as well. They then followed up with later on in the show. There's going to be a mobile game as well. Phone Destroyer. Why not? Give me more South Park. I'll take more South Park in my life in any which way you want to give it to me. So I just love those guys so much. They just never fail to make me laugh like crazy. So pretty hyped for that. So, but I mean, we know about that. We know what that game's going to be. We know it's going to be pretty much like Stick of Destiny, but taken to a
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth.
Still need to play. That's
and you've still not played that.
No, I bought it when it came back compat on Xbox One. I bought it and haven't played it yet.
Oh, you should, man. It's good. It looks like they're gonna. I mean, just for the laughs, like the writing and the characterization is just hilarious.
I thought watching the trailer for this, I thought, why have I not played this? This is hilarious.
Because you're a busy man and you barely have time to play the games I send you to play. So I mean, that might have something to do with it. I'm just thinking probably. Right. So we then after that we changed gears a little bit and went to show a little bit of Ubisoft VR and what they're looking at, and they're doing this thing. This looked creepy as all hell. I loved it. They're doing this sort of making this game in conjunction with Elijah Wood's production studio, and it's called Transference. Don't ask me exactly what this game is at this point. It seems to be something a little bit horror-esque, but there seems to be like a meta element to it, to the idea that you're actually using VR is kind of part of the narrative of the game. And Elijah Wood, when he can do his own stuff, it seems to be a creepy, weird kind of dude that's into dark humor and odd stuff. Just look at the projects he picks post Lord of the Rings, and you can see he's got a certain type of mindset when it comes to this thing. So yeah, I'm excited by that. It makes me interested in a VR property, which is few and far between, isn't it? So what did you guys think of it, Transference?
I don't know, because all of it seemed to be actual footage, right? So is that representative of the game in some way? Is
it FMV?
Yeah, like 3D video. Because no one's done that yet, and that's doable, isn't it? Interactive 3D video would be an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's a production studio, Elijah Wood isn't like a video game developer. He's they're going to be making films and TV and stuff like that at his studio. So yeah, the potential there is that you're talking FMV VR horror, which could be incredibly, you know, evocative stuff, couldn't it? It could be really cool. Joel?
Yeah.
Anything?
Well,
Anything, Joel?
yeah, I wasn't entirely clear exactly what the what the game was going to be. It's going to be VR. I wasn't sure if like you guys thought it's going to be some sort of Dragon's Lair style VR kind of quick events or something maybe like that. It wasn't entirely clear, or if it's literally just like being John Malkovich except with Elijah Wood, so you could just be him. I have, it wasn't entirely clear. So it's one of the things I want to go and look and see post yesterday if they've sort of released any more details, just to try and clarify some of the points, because it certainly looked interesting. Definitely. It's aroused my interest enough to try and find out a bit more. The only barrier I've got is I don't own a VR set for my PC yet, so I'm going to have to find a friend I can borrow one from, or perhaps have a look at buying one, I think.
Let me just put a little caveat here. We're going to be doing an episode of Bits and Bobs on Saturday at the end of this week. So stuff we're talking about now is based on pretty much just what we've got out of these conferences. There may have already been subsequent information, or there will be information that comes up throughout this week. So, we will be clarifying and revisiting things potentially when we do the next episode of Bits and Bobs on Saturday. So let's just, I'll just put that out there, a little disclaimer. So in case we are talking complete bullshit, which we often do, especially myself. So that's fine. All right, after transference, we got Assassin's Creed Black Flag Part 2, also known as Skull and Bones. But hey, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Pirate games are shit hot right now because, Sea of Thieves is cool. When we talked about that at Xbox yesterday, me and Joel, and Skull and Bones, let's take that awesome naval combat from Black Flag and let's blow it up to be a whole video game. Why the hell not? And it looked a lot like that. I mean, they even had sea shanties and stuff in there. Had a nice cinematic trailer. Then we had some multiplayer gameplay and a walkthrough. And I'm hoping it's more than just multiplayer. I hope there's a compelling single player aspect to this, because I wouldn't probably be interested in that kind of multiplayer if that's all it was. But it's hard to say. Ubisoft, they do make multiplayer only games. You've got to just look at Rainbow Six Siege, for example. That is pretty much, other than some modes you can play by yourself, that is a game really designed just for multiplayer. So it wouldn't be unknown of them to do that. So what did you guys think of Skull and Bones?
Clearly stepping on Sea of Thieves territory.
But very different, though. I mean, it's got a real different tone to it. I mean, it's just pirates. I mean, the only connection is pirates, surely.
I don't know. Well, you're saying it's very focused on multiplayer. It's about working together on a ship to take.
No, it's not working together on a ship. No,
I think you have a ship yourself.
Oh, is it single occupant? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So it
totally
is quite
different then in that case.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm trying to remember what I was nearly midnight when I was talking about it, so I could have been wrong at that point, So. But no, it's definitely AC4. When you drove the ship and fired the cannons and did all that yourself. Yeah.
All right. Cool. I did enjoy that as sort of a diversion within a main game. It does make me wonder if Skull and Bones 2 is going to think, I know what this game should need, probably an assassin section or something. I'll just expand it the other way. But
collectibles.
It's I don't know, it just seemed a bit dry. I think maybe because I'm sold on the idea of Sea of Thieves, that this just looked a little bit by the numbers piratey, but it's fine. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a good game because it worked in the Assassin's Creed games themselves. So
well, they seem to be they're using Black Flag's naval combat as a proof of concept, aren't they? So those are the guys that developed that. This is the Ubisoft studio that made that bit for that game, and now they've gone, look, well, we can do our own game. And it's been a while since Black Flag. It's not like they've just turned it around in a year and chucked it out the door. So it's a case of I'm hoping they have spent the time on this and they really made a decent single player game in there as well. I just you're always going to struggle to sell me on a concept when all you show me is multiplayer. I'm just not that gamer. So, I want it to be cool. Looks good. Right. Then we had some dancing. We had Cyber Sub-Zeros come out on the stage and rock it up. And then we had a woman come out. I don't know who she was. She had a good voice and she was singing live and she did very well. So bravo to that lady. And Just Dance is happening because it happens every year. And it turns out it's massive. And I'll never play it, but that's fine. Anybody? You're a big
Nothing
Just
to
Dance.
say.
You're a big Just Dance fan, Joel. I can tell. You're a huge
Oh yeah,
into
because
it.
that's the part where I thought, most of the conference is over now, so I'm just going to go play on my Xbox. So I actually, I threw the towel in, only for Ben to join me about 30 minutes later and say, "What? You didn't see the end, you fool!" So yeah, that's what I thought of it.
That's fair enough. Okay, we'll move on though. And then we all thought this genre was dead. We all thought, everybody was all the Toys to Life products folding. Skylanders is gone. Marvel, whatever they were doing, Infinity, that's gone. And the Star Wars and stuff, that's all gone. The only one that's surviving is Lego because, well, they're propped up by their giant empire, I'd imagine. And then we've got this new Toys to Life product, which is you build and customize modular little ships. And then you interact with this game called Starlink Battle for Atlas. Seems to be like a space combat, a bit like No Man's Sky, actually. I got a quite strong sort of procedurally generated planet vibe off of this, and flying from orbit down to the planet's surfaces with your little modular ships and going on particular missions and giving it different loadouts and stuff to do that. I just kind of wish this had happened a few years ago, because if it had, I probably would have bought the crap out of these toys. Because the inner child of me would have just died for that shit. But now that I've kind of seen how unsuccessful all the other Toys to Life stuff's been, I'm reluctant to invest a lot of money in something that's probably going to crash and burn. So what did you guys think of Starlink?
You know what? I kind of checked out at this point as well. I got to the start of this trailer, and I thought, No Man's Sky, get out.
But with toys, Richard.
I didn't get that far. I didn't see the toys. I just thought, no, not that. And turned it off. So, does it look good?
It looked all right. I mean, like I said, there's kind of the toy thing. What about you, Joel?
All right. So, there's certainly, having gone back and watched it again, I definitely have that inner child in me kind of feel. When I see it, I'm just like, oh my God, that's freaking awesome. Sort of, you got the ship. You could change the bits in during the battle. It's like, they showed one player like, oh, the ice weapon's not working. I know. I'll just take these guns off and clip some fire weapons on instead, and that kind of switched it. So I'm looking at it and thinking, my son who keeps joining us on the podcast every now and again, is it something that we might be able to play with him? Possibly. And it's certainly, it's kind of. Skylanders are just characters and things, but this is ships, man. I love ships and sci-fi and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's the appeal to me. So I'll wait and see. No doubt, as my son gets older, I'll end up buying into one of these systems. So maybe this will be the one.
What surprised me was that how far off it is. It's a fall 2018 game, and I was kind of like, right, the last few times Ubisoft have shown experimental products and then they're that far out, they just haven't materialized. Anybody remember Laser Tag? Anybody remember Laser Tag? Anyone? So it's kind of like, I can't believe this is already in a subgenre that's dying off. So in a year and a half's time, are they really going to release this product as they've shown it? I'd kind of be surprised if they did. However, I love that they're experimental and they're crazy and they come up with these bonkers ideas and they let them get developed and exist. So as we'll see at the end of the show, that most developers and publishers would just never have greenlit projects like we get from Ubisoft. So who knows? Maybe it will exist. Right, moving on though. Steep Road to the Olympics. Hold on, isn't Steep that game where you're on a mountain and you're chilling out and you play with your mates and you kind of just have a ski about and do a little bit of snowboarding and a bit of wingsuit, and then you sit back and you après ski it and you chill? Yeah, that really relaxed game. I know, let's make it super competitive and turn it into a competition Olympics thing. I feel like they're missing the point so much on this right now.
Or is DLC supposed to be different from the original game, Ben?
No. So moving on. No, I see what you're saying, and that let's appeal to maybe a different market. But I mean, before the conference started, they actually had they were doing their kind of behind the scenes thing, and they showed a bunch of players who were helping to hone the Steep experience, and multiples of these players were talking about how they played it as a chill out game, how it was low pressure, how they really liked the non-competitive aspect of it, and then to come out with the DLC that's all about competition. It just felt strange. Joel, any thoughts?
I've not played Steep at all, and to be honest, I haven't really played or got into any kind of like wintry sports game since I've actually written in my notes like a 1080 on the N64. I think is the last one I played. I think I may have played SSX Tricky on the GameCube. I do have that. So it's been just a lot. I just got no appetite to go and really play a wintry Olympic style game, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What I will say is the Steep engine is amazing. So if you're gonna do, Olympic downhill sports and ski jumping and the crazy competitive snowboarding stuff that you get in the Olympics now, if you're gonna do it, the engine is right for it. So I imagine it will be a very, 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 very good take on those sports. So I'll be keeping an eye on it because I'm kind of partial to a little bit of Steep. It's what I play when I want a bit of downtime, when I want to chill. So, maybe. Right. Now, you guys didn't hang around for Far Cry 5. I can't believe that. You must have known it was coming and you guys weren't interested in seeing it?
No.
No. Well, I kind of was, but I had to go to work the next day.
I understand. But basically, it seems to be the redneck murder simulator I've always wanted. So I can't wait to go and kill me some rednecks in Montana. It's going to be great. These horrible cultist Southern American type lunatics. These people deserve a bullet in their head more often than not. So I can't wait to experience that. And that seems to be what we're getting from Far Cry 5. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
The main reason I'm interested in it is for the people that it's pissing off. Isn't that brilliant fun to finally give the Gamergators what they wanted, a game all about white men, and then they get upset about it because you're killing just white men. Brilliant.
Yeah, I've picked up on that.
In this trailer, we get to see the most awesome breakout character of the year, which is this dog that is adorable and yet will fetch you guns from the enemies you murder and bring them to you. I mean, could you get a better dog than that? I bet Frank wouldn't do that, Richard. I bet he wouldn't do that. I'm just saying, you're going to have to get this dog instead. Like, it's the only way. It's the only way. So we had a cool kind of Amazing Grace set to creepy cinematic trailer. Then we had a bunch of gameplay. It looks like Far Cry. It looks like you're going to have a cast of interesting characters to help back you up. There's going to be the seamless co-op, which they've done before. But, honestly, what is exciting me is, as we just talked about, is this setting, is the characters that we're going to get to stamp on and blow up and shoot. And it's going to be righteous, baby. I'm bringing the fury. I can't wait. It's going to be good. Real good. Right. I love how neither of you are even commenting on my sort of slightly racist diatribe here. You're just agreeing with me. This is so weird.
If like, watch out, America, because if Ben Hall's coming, he's coming to scratch that itch. Like,
I'm bringing my M16, baby.
Ever want to go on a road trip to Montana? Watch out, people. The game wasn't enough for it. It just fed his appetite. It fueled him.
Well, they do say the most deadliest game is man, and I've always wanted to hunt that. So and on that note, let's talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2, because goddamn, that's a real fucking game that's really existing and will come out in probably a few more years, but it will come out.
Announced.
Yeah. I mean, the last time we saw this was about 4 E3s ago, in a very short cinematic trailer. And then it just went dead, totally. Radio Silence.
I even forgot they'd announced it before.
Yeah. That's how long it's been. It's been about 15 years since this first game came out. This does not look anything like that. I just want to stress that this, for all intents and purposes, could be an entirely different series of games or franchise. The only similarity being we've got talking kind of anamorphic animal type characters, or not anamorphic, anthropomorphic. Somebody help me out with this word. Thank you. I've not had a lot of sleep in the last few days. Thank you, Richard. It was full of swearing, bad language. It was full of like this dark, comedic, effed up kind of world that just seems really fun. There's going to be it's a whole galaxy. It's a prequel. You're going to be exploring the universe. You're going to have a badass ship.
I love it.
Looks great. Yeah, why not? It's a pretty cool
15-year-old game that ended on a cliffhanger, and they bring out a prequel.
Well, the thing is, I think at this point that they must be very much aware that most people who are gaming probably haven't played that game.
Yeah.
So it's like, why try and finish off or continue that story at this point? Because they don't care. Joel hasn't played it, for example. I was asking him earlier. So I mean, I didn't finish it when I did play it, back in the day. So but I might go back to, because it's on 360 and back compat, isn't it, Rich?
It is, yeah.
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 So yeah.
Originally, I did finish it on GameCube originally, and I went through it again when it came on Xbox. So I enjoyed it both times. It's worth a playthrough. It's not too long either.
I got the distinct impression from how they were talking about it that this is still a long way off. That this footage is kind of proof of concept, what we want the game to be, rather than, you know, obviously not in game. But it was a beautiful CGI trailer, though, and I just love the tone of it. I love the tone of the whole press conference, actually. When the guy came out to talk about Far Cry 5, he dropped the F-bomb in the presentation. And I thought, yeah, man, like, let's stop pretending, you know, we're all smart, well-behaved suits. Like, you know, we're fucking gamers. And gamers swear, and gamers get excited and have passion. And that's why this whole Ubisoft conference was the conference of the whole E3 for me. Like, it really,
man, come on.
They're talking to me, Rich. They're talking to me. Because unless you guys have got anything else you want to add, I mean, Sony was talking to somebody else entirely, really, weren't they?
Are they doing you a favour? You had so much to cover the previous day, giving you a bit of a rest, I think.
So I think what we should do first of all, before we go through what they did talk about, is just touch on all the things they didn't. Because they didn't talk about the Vita. They didn't talk about The Last of Us Part 2. They didn't talk about really any indie games like that they courted so strongly in the previous years. They just threw them all out the door and was like, nope, we're going to show a few shitty VR games that look terrible. You know, hello, Bravo Squad, the most generic looking fucking shooter on the planet. And then we're just gonna give you what we gave you last year. We're gonna give you some Days Gone and God of War and stuff. But really, we're not going to do anything that exciting. I was really underwhelmed by this. Like, really underwhelmed.
It tells you something that the remake of Shadow of the Colossus was probably the highlight.
It's just like, it's like a wrestling show. It's like, let's go for the easy pop. Let's talk about the hometown. I mean, it's sort of like Shadow of the Colossus. I started watching that. I was like, oh, wow, a sequel. Nope. This is just a remake. A remake of a game that's already had a remaster on the previous generation. And they're going crazy for it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people, the Sony fanboys? I mean, why are you getting so hyped for this? I just didn't understand.
I get the hype, but really, that should not be your tentpole in 2017.
Well, let's go in the order. Joel's gone quiet now. If you want to say anything, Joel, if you want to throw anything in, just say. Otherwise, I'll just roll with it. But
roll with it.
We opened with 2 DLC announcements. Or not even announcements. One was an announcement. One was just more we've seen. You know, we got Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and I might point out, if you were watching on Twitch like me, the first 2 demos didn't have audio because they somehow fucked up their stream horribly, which was brilliant.
The audio was even awful in the. I didn't watch it live, so I caught up on it this morning, and the audio was even awful in the on the show. Well, the non-live version. Yeah, the on-demand version. Yeah,
recorded as well.
Yeah. I think it really went wrong. I think some audio technician got fired yesterday.
Yeah, that's a shame, because everything else has gone very, very smoothly, I thought, actually, except for Xbox and their own service, which was Mixer, which was a fucking train wreck for a lot of people. So I basically used Twitch for everything, and it's been great, except for Sony. Anyway, so we've got The Lost Legacy. Yeah, I mean, yes, it looks good, doesn't it? I mean, it's Naughty Dog doing Uncharted. It's like, but I can't get excited about it.
I've not watched this new trailer.
It's fine.
I am properly hyped for it as well. I'm really looking forward to it. But does it tell you anything that we don't know is coming without just being spoilery?
No, it's just like,
I don't think so.
There's some tomb raiding, there's some shooting, there's some running about. It's an Uncharted game.
Yeah.
You know, whatever's. We then got, this what hadn't been previously announced: Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds DLC story DLC for Horizon. I need to play some more of that game. That game is impeccably good. Like, that is a fantastic game. But again, I
am kind of surprised it's got DLC, because they normally announce stuff like that at release, don't they? You know, they'll try and sell you a season pass, or
straight up.
You have an idea that it's coming, but this is snuck out rather late in the day, which is a nice surprise.
I will say the only thing I could take away from this trailer was, it's snowy Horizon, and that was kind of all I could take from it. Icy snowiness. It didn't really seem to be doing anything that new or different. But then again, I was moaning about Steep changing things up, 10 minutes ago. So should I complain that it's just giving us more of what we want? I really shouldn't, should I? We then did get some Days Gone that some of my insider info tells me has had a very troubled development thus far. It's zombies, isn't it? I mean, it's hard to get excited about another zombie game.
Yeah, there seem to be a lot of them now. It's just
there's been a lot of them for 10 years, but I just looked at that and went, what I liked was the character seems to be a complete arsehole, like totally self-serving. He's not trying to be a leader. He's not trying to be altruistic. He's just a dick trying to survive. This played by Sam Witwer, also known as Starkiller, if you remember The Force Unleashed. It's good to know that, he's still following the dark side here, it would seem. But it looked good, didn't it?
Maybe that's what we're missing from zombie games, because that's what people like about The Walking Dead, right? It's not about the zombies, it's about the people. And most zombie games don't really give a shit about their protagonists. It's all about how many enemies are on screen and whatnot. So, yeah, if it's got a decent main character.
It seems to be almost like the zombie game where you're playing as it's either Merle or Earl from The Walking Dead, that kind of guy that is just out for himself. So fair enough. I mean, at one point in this trailer, he's trying to rescue his friend, and the way he does it is he lets in a lot of zombies to murder everybody else. And then the trailer did end with giant zombie bear, which I guess is different.
Wrapped
it was
in barbed wire. It looked it looked demonic.
It did look pretty evil. I was going to mess him up. I mean, the tech in there with all the very fast-moving zombies is impressive. It looks really good, this game. But I'm struggling to get excited. I really am.
Talking of showing all of this on PS4 Pros as well, aren't they?
Yes.
And I guess it's a similar problem for Xbox. I do wonder how disappointed mainstream console owners are going to be when they finally play these games and it looks nothing like, how close it is to that divergence where what you see on screen is not what you get.
We're there, I suspect. I mean, because the Pro's out. I mean, Horizon looks a lot better on a Pro than it does on a regular, and it looks good on my regular. But I've seen what it can do on a 4K TV with a Pro. I mean, it makes me want to get a Pro, but I'm not going to get that Pro because I'm getting an Xbox One X this year and a 4K TV at the same time. So I'm very excited about that. I've already convinced the wife. Don't know how I did that. Talking about games though that are leaving you. Mine. I'll start working on it. Don't worry. Saying it's important. It's for work. So talking about games that I'm struggling to get excited about. Monster Hunter World. Is it the trailer's fault? That trailer was really bad and boring, or is it a case of I just don't like Monster Hunter games that much? Do either of you guys have a connection to the Monster Hunter stuff? Because I know there is a huge amount of people that will be hyped for this. So
there's a house that's got a Monster Hunter sign outside, and I'm on the doorstep. I've never gone in. I do want to. I've heard that this Monster Hunter World one is more of a dumbed down version. Is that right? I haven't seen the trailer, but I heard that they were going to be sort of splitting the series off between proper Monster Hunter, which I think is what we're going to get on the Switch, and then this, which is a bit more bare bones and accessible.
Yeah, this looked quite a bit different. I've not played any of the Monster Hunter games, but I have seen a reasonable amount of footage of them. This looked very different to them. I mean, it seemed to be kind of dinosaur-y, like focused in a kind of prehistoric-y kind of world, really.
They should put that in the box. Kind of dinosaur-y.
I put it in my notes. It's just I've got fire-breathing dinosaurs plus guns in my notes and a third-person game. It looked like it could be quite fun. It looked like the kind of game that might be fun and kind of multiplayer. I thought, kind of some sort of co-op mode. Get 4 or 5 of you just going around like mashing up these massive dinosaurs with your guns and stuff. But yeah, I'll have to wait and see a bit more, I think.
Yes, yeah, I suppose so. The whole idea of like tracking them and baiting them and then learning their attack patterns and customizing the right weapons to use to take them down. That shit don't interest me.
Apparently it's amazing once you get into it, but it's real work.
That's what I always hear. Yeah, I always hear the same. And it's just like, that just sounds like busy work. That sounds like having a job. And that doesn't sound thrilling to me. That's when after that we got Shadow of the Colossus. I think intentionally, if you look at the running order, they were like, all right, we're going to need a cheap pop here. We're going to need something to bring the crowd back on our side a little bit.
It didn't work though, did it? Did you not hear the really, like, barely any of the audience clapped? I've noted in my notes muted reception. It was like, yeah, the audience barely made much sound at all. It certainly wasn't like, way, like when the Horizon Zero Dawn came up, just the logo, like the crowd were like, way, but yeah, this didn't actually. Okay. It just got like a couple of patronizing gentle claps at the end, and that was it.
No, my Twitter feed fucking exploded. Like that was the main thing I was watching, I guess. And
that's what they were all doing. They weren't clapping. They were obviously tweeting about it then. Yeah.
Can't clap. Fingers are on phones. Yeah, I guess that would be hard to clap and tweet at the same time, I suppose. Yeah. And it is what it is. It looks like a really, really, really pretty game. Like I might actually play Shadow of the Colossus now, because I've still not done it. I've owned it twice before, but never actually played it. Yeah, there is something wrong.
Like literally not played at all, or
yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Jeez, even I've played that one, Ben.
It's one of those ones which the problem is for me is like when there's a game that I've missed, like the Metal Gear series is another example, where it's been so lauded and like such a venerable experience, like so much love and so much hype that I find it hard to actually start the experience because it's just like it's never gonna live up to that, is it? It's just not. Surely that's not possible. So I find it sort of difficult. But now, you know, with a version of it that looks as good as this, that it looks like current gen, maybe this is the time where I can actually jump on it and go, yes, you know, go through this and play it and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I suppose with the remake, it sheds a lot of that nostalgic value, cuts through it, and it will be a modern experience for you that you can assess on its own terms. So yeah, good time to have a go. I played it when it was reissued on PS3 and remastered, and it still stood up then. Okay. So I think it's probably still good. Because
I had them both on PlayStation, and that and Eco, and then I got the remasters of that and Eco on PS3. And I bought them digitally. I still own them, obviously, but they didn't, because they don't do back compat in the same way on PlayStation. You know, I'd have to go onto PlayStation Now to play it, or that shitty streaming version. I don't really want to do that. So now I'll just wait. Yeah, wait for this. I played Eco. It was all right. But anyway, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite story trailer looks a bit like fan fiction made into a video game. Yeah, it does not look good. Does not look good.
That sort of fan fiction.
I know, just the idea. Yeah, we're gonna get like Chris Redfield, and we're gonna get like Captain America, and then they're gonna have to fight Ultron, and it's gonna be like OMG. That kind of fan fiction, coupled with a shit art style. So I'm just like, not feeling this. This looks like crap, total crap. But tell me I'm wrong, guys. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you could try it. The demo was released, wasn't it, yesterday?
Yeah,
so
I'm very reluctant.
Give it a time. Give it a go and see what you think.
I might do before Bits and Bobs on Saturday. I promise. Well, we should all go and try it, and then actually say how shit it is, because it looks like garbage. I'll just play Marvel Heroes instead because that's fun. But anyway. Yeah, so that was that. All right, and then big prediction that we obviously all got right. Activision's going to be at Sony. Well, duh. So they came out with the multiplayer reveal trailer for Call of Duty WWII, and it's fine. Looks like Call of Duty, doesn't it, guys? I mean, pretty Call of Duty in World War II. How are we feeling about that?
I got off that boat years ago.
I don't
I got. I did well for multiplayer wise. I did.
Right, multiplayer. Them. Okay, fair enough.
I got off the boat, and then I was telling Ben before, I've got back on it. I've read a bit about the background to this game and some of the what's been going on with the development. I'm not looking forward to the multiplayer, mainly because I will get my ass handed to me, so that's not going to be what I'll play. But the single player, I'm looking forward to actually giving it a try. So.
Yes, I mean, when were you telling me about that? Was that on the when we were talking about that? Was it on air?
No, I think it was the predictions. I think we talked about it in the predictions show. That I read, basically a 6-page spread in Edge about the sort of being with the developers and talking about what they've been doing. It just really appealed to. I like the idea of the philosophy and the approach, and it's turned me around. So I'm looking forward to it.
So now, after Call of Duty, we decided that the Sony realized, oh crap, we've got this got this fucking headset thing that we've sold 1 million of, and we probably should talk about some games for that. Otherwise, we might not sell another 1 million. Richard's already bought one, but we need to expand the marketplace at least double that if we can. And it's Bethesda, they're doing that Fallout VR. So I guess Skyrim VR. Yeah, all right, Skyrim VR, sure. So surprise to no one, Skyrim's going to be in VR. Woo!
Was it a surprise? Yeah. I didn't know it was coming along, but it's now set up a whole new raft of jokes. I don't know if there's the current joke about Doom, that Doom's basically been ported to everything. People have ported it to like Texas Instrument calculators, and you can. Someone even ported it to one of the newest Samsung fridges, has like a screen in it. They got Doom running on that, and now looks like Skyrim's going to be taking its place now as what else can we port Skyrim to? Because literally this is. I can't believe it's made, on the Switch, everyone's like, way, old game. And here we are again, now in VR on PS4. It's like, oh.
What do you think? What do you think? 18 months, 2 years, and it'll be on one of these?
Yeah, possibly. Well, people were joking, the microwaves now have screens. Could we get Skyrim on your microwave? Where could it end?
Yeah, I mean, it's a super popular game that's sold incredibly well. However, this isn't going to be the new re-released version, which is fancy on the current. This is going to be the old version like they're getting on the Switch, and you could just tell from looking at the trailer that the resolution's not great, and this is the problem I'm having with a lot of this VR shit. Right, you're now showing off 4K games, Anthem, stuff like that. It looks so good, and then you see this VR games, and it's like, I understand that they can't look as good, but they just look like shit. Like almost all of them look so bad that it's really hard for me to get excited for VR games.
I think it's a bit. Richard may be able to say better, but like from talking to people who've used it, I think you have to use it. It's really hard to judge it by not seeing it in a VR headset. And people have spoken. Yeah,
I played the quite shit Eve space shooter on VR. Yeah, EGX 3 years ago. I imagine it's better than that now, but like.
It's okay. I mean, it does depend on the game. There are games that look so good that you can kind of see through the flaws of the technology. Batman is one of those. Batman VR. It just looks so convincing that very, very quickly you see through the low resolution issue, and that's really the only issue. Everything else is fine, apart from making me feel sick.
I was happy after this to see a different type of game shown for VR. Star Child looked like it wasn't just going to be in that same mold as all the others we're seeing. I don't really know exactly what that game is. The trailer didn't say a lot, but it definitely seemed to have its own style and its own look. But then after winning me over a little bit, they then went, oh, here's a horror game set in an asylum in VR, because we've not had one of those before. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, just you were doing so. And then after that, here's some fishing with those boy band members from Final Fantasy 15 in VR. You're going to love that, aren't you, PlayStation people? And then they didn't end it off with this. And then the most generic shooter ever, Bravo team. What was that?
Almost as if it was a joke.
I thought it was.
I didn't believe it was a real game. It was the worst.
It was so bad. Thankfully, though, they did end on a charming, cute, sort of actiony kind of like experience. Moss. I thought that with his endearing little mouse, and there was like big snake monsters. I'm like, I'd play that. That seems quite charming and different, and that seemed kind of cool. But the rest of it, and maybe that and Star Child, but it's just like, if you're going to keep churning out these generic, predictable VR experiences, people will just stop buying them, and they will not buy hardware to play them, surely. I just do something interesting.
Well, yeah, I thought Star Child, it was a bit hard to tell much about it. Well, I've got down here, it's a 2D platform, or maybe 2.5D is probably the more apt description. But I couldn't work out right at the end of the trailer. It sort of shows that it looks like the character's about to get attacked, but then someone slams their hand down to protect them. Is that supposed to be you? Is this character going to be kind of automated, and you have to interact with the environment and help them around? And then obviously 5 games later, they show Moss, which is exactly that, isn't it? You're sort of ushering this mouse along, but you've got to move the environment and twist it to make the path for him to get through, open the doors and that kind of thing. So, they're the kind of ideas I like thinking about with VR games. They sort of seem new, creative ways to use it. But for a second looked like they've shown two games that are, one's a sci-fi setting, one's a more friendly, humble, like you say, endearing little mouse.
Yeah, but if you see one more generic fucking shooter like Bravo Team, or one more horror game set in an asylum like called Inpatient, I'm just like, for Christ's sake, there are 20 of these. Why are you making them?
Well, so they made a fishing game there. They tried something different.
I suppose there is that. Final Fantasy Fishing is probably better than Final Fantasy Stare at the Chick's Boobs, which was the other VR game they did in Final Fantasy. So, you know, I suppose it's a step forward, I guess, at that point. Though the fishing in Final Fantasy 15 is really, really, really boring. So as somebody who spent a good few hours doing it, I can tell you it's not great. So but after their little VR segment, which took the place of the Vita segment and took the place of the indie segment, I suppose, you know, because this was a short show. This was an hour. You know, we've had a lot. There's a lot of short shows here. We got, you know, 40 minutes at Bethesda. We got Ubisoft, which was under an hour. We got Nintendo at half an hour. Microsoft was the one that bucked the trend at over an hour and a half. You know, so. You know, this is short. They're flying along. We're into the big games now at the end of the show. These are the tentpoles. So we got God of War. More God of War.
Looked great.
Looked a lot like the God of War we saw last year.
With gameplay, though, which we didn't see last year.
Pretty sure we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we got gameplay, yeah. He fought a boss or a big creature last year, yeah.
Well, this looked like real gameplay. Last year, it could have been kind of staged, couldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's like, let's take God of War, let's bring him into the 20 teens. Let's give him like real mature motivations. Let's give him a child ward, his son, who he's going to have to protect, and something's going on there, obviously. And yeah, it looked like God of War, though, didn't it? I mean, he's tearing fools up and smacking him in the face and cutting limbs off. At the end of the day,
yeah.
Is there a lot to get excited there? I mean, they're going to give it a, you know, what is the God of War when there are no more gods to kill? I suppose that's the fundamental wrapper here. That should be interesting. So,
one thing that got me about this was that I've been so enamored with the change of direction with God of War that when it did cut to gameplay footage, I was kind of like, oh
yeah, it's still that.
Yeah, it's still God of War, actually. It's still the same sort of thing, which is disappointing given the I'm going to get all highfalutin now. The emotional resonance of last year's presentation, the relationship between Kratos and his son. That set me off. That was a really cool moment. I really enjoyed that, and to see it just step back into hitting dudes with blades. I don't know. I get that's what it is, but it left me a little bit deflated.
Joel, any thoughts? We've got any connection to it in the past?
I've not played the previous God of War games, so you know, from a fresh perspective, I looked at that. I thought, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Bit of Norse mythology. I love that kind of thing. Recognized Christopher Judge doing the voiceover, so I was like, oh, straight away, Teal, like, love that guy. So yeah, it looked kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, the ending with the world serpent and all of that. Yeah, I definitely am interested in that Norse pantheon. I do find it quite engaging. So is it a case of, is he going to go after? Are we going to get Kratos killing Thor? You know, is he going to be taking on the Odin? You know, stuff like that. So that could be interesting. I guess that could be cool. However, we now got the game I was easily the most excited for from the PlayStation press event, which was Detroit Become Human. I didn't think it showed that great last year. I thought the presentation of it last year was a bit boring, other than the concept of, you know, your decisions are going to shape the outcomes. This now, the idea that you're, at least for this part of the game, playing as this character Marcus, who is leading the android revolution, and the choices about how he's going to do that. And, you know, will you be a killer? Will you trying to be more softy feely good guy? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to murder all the humans. It's going to be great. But, you know, I dug this. I thought it was a strong presentation. I thought it got across how the game is going to play quite well. It looked crazy good. Like, visual-wise, the characters looked astounding, especially considering the scope. The scope didn't feel tiny. It actually felt fairly expansive for a Quantic Dream game. So I'm all for this. This looks cool. I'm ready to be completely fucked over by Quantic Dream once again with the promise of excellence, and then it'll become another Beyond Two fucking Souls, which was garbage. So I'm all up for that again. So yeah, that looked cool, didn't it? It looked good.
It looked cool. We'll have to compare notes because I am going to play this as a pacifist, so we'll see what the difference is.
Oh, I play as a murdering psychopath, so it's going to be awesome.
If the game offers genuine choice, I will play through both paths. But I tend to find it's when a game says, "Oh, there'll be so many branching choices," I'm always like, "Oh, hold back!" Like I don't necessarily believe you. Now you could do it, but these days, so I never feel like games kind of nail the choicings. The early Mass Effects did, but I think Andromeda missed that greatly this time round. So
totally.
Bit reserved, but I'll benefit of the doubt. Let's see if they can come out.
Are you a David Cage veteran? Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain,
no.
Fahrenheit?
Oh, yes, I know of Heavy Rain. Yeah, so give me an idea of what to expect. I was just going to put this out there though, because I noticed obviously Androids set in Detroit. RoboCop DLC. Anybody thinking?
Yes.
I hope so. I hope so.
Get the cyborg in there to sort of mediate the argument between the androids and the humans. He's the halfway house.
Good idea.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, they've got to do something with it, surely. There has to be a reason he's picked Detroit. I mean, it's like, come on. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see. I mean, I can't remember if there was a release window for that, but I feel like
I didn't catch it in my notes, so I don't think there was.
Okay, what did you think about the writing? I'm not sure if it hit the spot entirely. Well, I suppose it is a David Cage game. But
yeah, that's Quantic Dream. That's we are very French, and we will pretend to write American stuff, but we'll always just about miss it, and it'll just come across as weird.
Yeah, it is weird. There's a very Life of Brian moment where Marcus is standing in that crowd of robots, right? And he's like, "Don't be a slave anymore." And they're all like, "Yes, Marcus, we'll follow you."
Yeah, I thought that was weird. It's like, "Oh, but we'll be slaves to you." Yeah, I was like, "Huh? Is that intentional? Are they trying to say something there?" I was a bit like, "That's a bit odd." Yeah.
I spot on in my notes. I wrote Marcus the Messiah. Perfect. Yeah.
You see, to me though, they're just going to be cannon fodder. I'm just going to throw them at the humans, kill as many as possible. It's going to be fantastic. I did love that bit when he gives them the gun and goes, "These guys murdered." You see all the bodies of the androids, and it's like, "Oh, how are you going to deal with this? Oh, this is some fun choices. This is going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this." So after Detroit, we got again predicted Destiny 2, our Darkest Hour trailer. But again, a very short showing, I thought, from Activision for both Call of Duty and Destiny. I expected some gameplay, and we didn't get any.
I thought there'd be gameplay as well. I was quite surprised. I thought they may at least start by just showing the something of a strike, or some, the start of a bit of a mission, like 10 minutes of gameplay, something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was surprised. It was, there's a little bit of gameplay footage in there, but it was kind of all short, a lot shorter than I thought.
But they made a good 30-second point of going, but remember, we're PlayStation. We've got all this exclusive content that we paid for and locked out from Xbox players because we're basically cunts. So don't you just love that, PlayStation? And it's just like, you dicks. This isn't a good thing for anyone. It's just like money makes you into assholes. That's all you're saying. It's just like, why is this worth lording over everybody else? It's not going to make me play on PlayStation. I'd only play on PlayStation if I knew I had a huge amount of players and friends to play with there, and I don't. So I will be staying on Xbox. So fuck you. It's just ridiculous. I hate that. I hate marketing deals like that so much. It makes me angry. It really pisses me off.
I don't mind the cosmetic items, some armor, the ship, they've got the Lake of Shadows exclusive strike, which they also had an exclusive strike on the original Destiny on the PS4 as well. So it's just a continuation of that relationship, really.
Yeah, but it's shit. Sorry,
it does suck.
It's shit. Yeah, it's
really
annoying,
shit.
But it's par for the course. It's people. Everyone does it. If they can get exclusives, they'll go for them. Timed exclusives.
And I tell you what, this might sound like a minor thing, but as a massive Destiny fan, when you tell me that Sony has an exclusive exotic weapon, of which I know there aren't that many exotic guns, and that they've got one you can't get on the Xbox, that makes me angry. That makes me more angry than a strike or a multiplayer map. The fact that I can't get all my exotics. I'm pissed.
I'd just be a bit annoyed about this. I think the strike would be the one that would annoy me most, just because I feel like I'd be missing out on. When the original Destiny launched, there were only about 4 strikes in it, so you could be missing out on 20% of the strike offerings. So hopefully that won't be that thin on content in the initial launch. Wouldn't put it past them though.
We'll find out soon. We'll find out soon.
This is why they don't show gameplay, because you'll realise it's just like 3 worlds. Destiny's like Brexit at this point. It's like Theresa May's Brexit policy. Don't ask too many questions, and you'll assume it's still brilliant.
Okay. 10 steps forward to the next section. It'll be please insert Susan Pass to continue, kind of thing.
Okay, let's bring it to the end of Sony. I know we were going to run long on this one because there's 3 conferences to talk about. Let's bring it to the end. We got a whole bunch of Spidey. Basically, we got a load of gameplay. This is how they closed it out. We even got a little Easter egg at the end of the gameplay that showed Miles Morales is in this universe, though whether or not he'll be any more than just a bystander, I don't know. I thought the game looked good. I liked the way that they've incorporated the webs into the combat. I'm not a massive Spider-Man fan in any way, shape, or form, but it looked nice. Seemed to play well. A little bit heavy reliance on QTEs, which I wasn't a fan of. But I mean, that's how you ended the conference, PlayStation. Bit odd. Like, where's my vaporware? Where's my Final Fantasy remake? Where's my Shenmue? I'm really upset we didn't get Shenmue, guys. I'm not really.
Well, they did say that wasn't going to be shown, didn't they? They'd already confirmed it wasn't.
I mean, they also said there was going to be no Death Stranding, but like, flipping heck, man, there's so much stuff here that's not been shown, and yet you're going to give us 10 minutes of Spidey.
Yeah.
This is some weird choices on this conference, guys.
I thought the Spider-Man game looked. I was quite taken aback by that. I was like, wow, that looks. I agree with you on the QTE thing. I'm not a massive fan of those, and it was a little heavy on it during some of the cinematic action sequences during the thing. But the actual raw combat that they showed looked incredibly fun. I mean, they showed off quite a lot of what looked like variety and things, and it's certainly, having played quite a lot of the Arkham Asylum games and getting just a little bit bored now of that, being Batman, I would say that looked like a nice, interesting new twist. It's like, aha, I can, Spider-Man got the webs, loads more stuff, a bit more interactivity with the environment. That looks really cool. Little less reliance on gadgets probably as well. So I think that looks quite decent. I'm looking forward to seeing some more of that.
I mean, you've got the Batman combat is in there. There is obviously that counter combat is a big part of that game. But yeah, putting the web stuff in there, some variety and stuff, absolutely, like you said. However, I couldn't think much more beyond. Would have rather had a Sunset Overdrive 2, really. Just saying.
Yeah.
Bit sad that.
Well, whose fault is that? Idiot Xbox owners.
Yeah, everybody should have bought that game twice, 3 times. And we still wouldn't have got a sequel. But that was the end of Sony. I've definitely said it. Somewhat underwhelming, especially after last year's. The fact that the other big surprise, why weren't you putting the boot in on Xbox? $4.99? Are you stupid?
Hold on.
What's going on?
So I didn't think it was too bad. It was I felt the whole thing was very cinematic. They showed a lot of. Not too much gameplay, but a lot of there were large elements of gameplay, but they showed a lot of big titles, a lot of stuff that we already knew was coming. So I just can't help but wonder if they, didn't really know what Microsoft were going to show the day before, so just stuck to their guns. Let's keep it pretty simple. Let's just show the games we've got. We'll keep our cards close to our chest for later in the year. And that's what they've done.
At an E3 conference, I love when they take the risk, they get the developer to come out and play the game live. I love that because it's like, this is the game running in front of you on the biggest fucking global stage, and they didn't do that for a single game. Not one game. Yep. Xbox did it for a couple, not as many as they've done in the past. Ubisoft did it for most of their games. And it's just like, if you're just showing me trailers, you're just doing a trailer reel, why have you bothered to do this event at all? You could just put all of that online. It's nothing special, and I just don't understand it. I liked the staging, like the when they did Days Gone, they had the zombies hanging on chains and stuff, and they had that cool sand waterfall happen at the start, and they had the live band again. There were some cool moments, but I don't care about that. I want developers to come out and show me their game and tell me why it's awesome. And they didn't do any of it. And I just think that there's a fucking cocky arrogance to it that I don't appreciate. I really don't.
Do you think that's what it is? They're just too far ahead that they don't have
complacent. Complacency. That whole thing smelt of complacency to me. You know, it really did. It was just like, we can do anything now. We're just, you know, we've won. And I think that's going to give them a chance. I think that's going to give Xbox a chance. I really do. Stuff like that. I think Xbox did a really 40-odd games they showed, like compared to Sony's a dozen. Like they really went for it.
They were very different, weren't they? Because Sony concentrated, what I'd say, very much on big titles, whereas Microsoft showed a lot of kind of smaller indie titles. So they were kind of very contrasting from that sense. Microsoft didn't really pull out the killer Breath of the Wild style game. I think they really need to get the Scorpio off at launch. So I expect that they'll be doing a lot more next year that we'll get to see. But
that should have been Crackdown, shouldn't it?
Crackdown didn't show well. I didn't think that looked impressive at all. But they did close with Anthem, and I thought that was. I mean, Richard, you weren't here for it, but I'll say it again. That was the thing that showed the 4K generation of consoles. That's the games that are coming. Like they're going to be like that, and that looked amazing.
That's going to be on PlayStation though as well, though, isn't it?
It's multi-platform.
So it wasn't.
Most of Xbox
kind of Microsoft's riposte to Destiny, I guess, isn't it? That PlayStation have got
EA's.
that.
Yeah. Well, you know, they sold a lot of third-party games. I just felt Xbox was a bit more about the whole experience. You know, I kind of just it came across better. But anyway, neither of them did great. Ubisoft is still my favorite. Anyway, guys, I'm going to kind of give to you a bit on Nintendo here. I'll run it down, and you tell me why I should give a shit. Because most of this I'm just scratching my head over, I'll be honest. So Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the main takeaway for me was, wow, that's a really regional British accent that the hero has in this. Like, that was kind of odd. So do either of you have a Xenoblade Chronicles connection? I was just like, wow, JRPG, okay.
I've got Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS because it's the only 3DS game that is exclusive to new 3DS. So you kind of got to have it to see what the difference is. Spoilers, there are none.
Cool. Have you played much of it?
I've played a few hours. It's all right. It's one of those Japanese RPG type things, isn't it? It's all right. You hit stuff. The swords don't make contact with anything really, but numbers flash up, so it's fine.
Sometimes you do want to play one of those. Sometimes you do want to play one of those.
Yeah, number two's was released on the Wii U as well. I've got a friend who's It's just another port, I think, of a Wii U game because he's got it, and I'm sure it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is a bit where I'm doubting my own statement now.
Xenoblade Chronicles HD, I think, is the Wii U game.
Let's have a quick look.
Well, while you check that, I will mention the word Kirby, and I know people love it.
Do they? I'm not sure they do. I mean, I like Nintendo stuff. I've never bought a Kirby game, though. And I kind of think, who does? I've never met anyone who's admitted to buying a Kirby game either.
I haven't met him, but I can tell you on Twitter, Jim Sterling was losing his mind over Kirby.
Yeah,
he loves Kirby.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, fair enough. So yeah, that was the thing. Kirby, a new platformer with the pink puffball. Fine.
Looks all right.
This is when we got the biggest announcement of the entire thing, and there was nothing. It was just a logo, and they came out and went, "We're making Metroid Prime 4. So you want to buy a Switch for when that comes out in 3 years, don't you?"
That's so funny. Yeah. It's so funny that is enough. It's like, oh, thank you, Nintendo.
Here, have some money. I'm sorry I ever doubted you. Please take my cash. Please take all my money. But it works.
We talked about this in a prediction show, didn't we? And you predicted it, and you threw it out there, and I just said no. I didn't think. I think they just concentrate on the what we know about already, and yeah, it's just a logo, but yeah, it's like if honestly, that's anything like the previous three, like I'm in already. Like take my money.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think my prediction has been born to be true because it's just them saying we're developing it. Please stop fucking asking about it. And that's all this is. It's not like really anything, is it?
It was a logo, Ben. It was so much more than that.
Do you know when I saw the 4? When I saw the 4, I thought that looks like the Fantastic Four. I don't know what this is. Oh, Metroid. Okay. But yeah, they're making it. And then the best thing was most people were losing their minds so much over this that they missed the very charming. I thought the best looking game possibly from this was the Yoshi trailer, which I thought looked really cool and really interesting. I was like, I'm not a big fan of Yoshi, but there's something about that looks really sweet and charming and nice. And yeah, I'd play that. That looks cool.
That's a bit pedestrian, I thought. Like,
dude, all these Nintendo games look pedestrian, though. That's my problem. None of this looked exciting, but I'm just thinking to myself, but Nintendo fans love this shit. Why do they love this shit? I don't understand. It must be something. But
Yoshi, you normally think the whole thing about Yoshi is the control mechanic, right? The floating in midair, the kick in the legs, and the classic Nintendo platforming stuff. It's usually excellent. But this just seemed it was a bit more of a Little Big Planet vibe where you're kind of plodding through the levels. Things are waiting there for you to do something to them rather than feeling like a living world.
You just described every platform a Nintendo has ever made.
No. This was not on the same level, I didn't think.
Okay. Fair enough. Then we got a game I can get behind, and I do love from Nintendo, the Fire Emblem series. I love those tactical games. They are so much fun. They're brilliant. I love how the characters interact. Oh, this is Fire Emblem Warriors. This is going to be like Dynasty Warriors, isn't it? Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't want to play as Marth slaying down a bunch of shit AI enemies. I only enjoy it when it's tactical. And that, well, you can't get much further from tactics than Dynasty Warriors, can you? So it's just like, Christ. No, don't care. Moving on. One I did genuinely ask you guys about, though, is the DLC stuff for Breath of the Wild. How are you guys feeling about this? Are you excited for this?
Frank is
definitely excited.
Frank's gone for it already, isn't he? Yeah.
So tell me why this is a thing. Why this matters.
Yeah, you said in your summary write-up for the Nintendo segment that you weren't sure whether there's anything in there to be excited about, and I'm not entirely sure either because it's broken up into two halves. You've got the first pack of DLC, which is available in the summer, and then something called the Heroes Ballad or something, was it, for the second DLC pack, which is coming later
seemed to be a musical. I was like, what is this? I don't understand.
Well, there's an accordion playing bird, isn't there, in that second half of the trailer, and he is prevalent throughout the original game. So you'll meet him, and he'll tell you tales of adventures past and sing songs about them, and they'll give you clues to things that you can do in the environment, so you can open up secret shrines and whatnot. So I'm guessing, what's banging? I haven't touched the freezer.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to defrost all the food, Richard. What are you doing? What are you fucking doing, you clown?
Uh-oh, crisis.
The ice cream is ruined!
No!
You have to eat it.
I'll cut in it. Yeah, for me, I don't know. I haven't had enough time to look at it in detail, but I'm still digesting Breath of the Wild itself. I don't even know. I think I'm probably about a third of the way through the game because I keep going back to it. I've not sat down and gone through it. I've got so much other stuff on my plate at the moment, and I'm kind of using the Switch rather than sitting and playing it at home. It's when I go out, I take it with me when I go on holiday, that kind of thing. So that's what I'm saving the Switch for. So this is going to be something that I might get around to by the time I get to the end of it. All I could gauge from it looked like from some of the things they were talking about, it looked like they're adding like a harder mode, which might be similar to like the Master Quest edition of Ocarina of Time. Although the way Breath of the Wild is compared to Ocarina of Time, it's not like they're going to relay out dungeons and things like that. I don't think it'll just be that everything will just be harder. Basically, I guess less health and that sort of stuff. And yeah, I didn't really look into the detail of what all the new content they're actually going to add alongside that will be. So I'm still chewing my way through Breath of the Wild. It's possibly something I'll look at once I get to the end of that. I'm not sure if by the time I've actually finished Breath of the Wild, and I will probably go for 100% on it, if I'll just be a bit exhausted from it, really, and that's just not what I'm going to want.
Okay. That's fair enough. I'll move us along then. Joel, you can guess which announcement excited me the most, can't you? From the Nintendo thing, can't you? You can guess.
Rocket League.
Yes.
Yep.
I'd play Rocket League on every platform. I love Rocket League. It's the best. So
I think it'll work. I think it'll work well on the Switch. It's a bit of a shame. Well, to be honest, you don't really need voice chat. I think Rocket League's kind of perfect game just to drop out of. So yeah, I think it'll work pretty well.
One of the things they
controls though, it's weird, isn't it? It's got no triggers.
Oh, you don't really need a trigger for Rocket League, do you? Or just accelerating and brake? I mean, you're not really doing things with like gradual acceleration and braking.
Pretty binary, isn't it?
Yes. Go, hit, jump, boost. You can tell Richard hasn't played enough Rocket League. That's what we need. We need to get Richard on playing Rocket League.
Well, I'm assuming that there's more finesse to my terrible playing.
Nope.
Will expose.
Nope. What was cool, what I did think I gleaned from this little announcement when the Psyonix guys came out, was that I think they're going to do like a local Wi-Fi game, so like a system link type of multiplayer. So if you have like 4 people that come around your house and you all got your own Switch, you can all play against each other with Rocket League like you were 10 again with your Game Boy. And I'm like, yes, that would be an amazing way of playing Rocket League. I'd be all over that. That'd be so much fun.
Also think about how cool it would be. I don't know if I didn't see it in the trailer. I didn't actually watch the trailer. Sorry, for Rocket League. I just saw it and thought, yep, that'll be great. But just 2-player, just split screen.
Did they say that they're doing split screen?
I don't know, but that, considering that's what a large part of the Switch kind of is, the great fact you've got those 2 controllers, you just get that kickstand out, you put it up, and you just drop into a game. That would work. That would be pretty cool. Just a one-on-one Rocket League on your split screen.
Something else I noticed as well when they were announcing it, they mentioned extra cars for battle mode. I'm like, what's
Mario
battle
Kart,
mode, guys? So there's going to be
karts.
But I think if they're doing a battle mode, it won't just be on the Switch. I think battle mode, whatever that is, they said they're going to talk about it more in the summer as we progress. So there's going to be a new kind of combat focused mode coming to Rocket League, and I'm like, yeah, I'd have some fun with that. That'll be cool. So it's funny. The most thing I'm talking about is this one small third-party game that's coming to the Switch. But really, now we've got Mario coming up, I couldn't care less. But tell me why I should care about Mario Odyssey, guys. Like, it looked cool. The hat thing's cool. The hat that you can use to possess people and take them over. I mean, that seems pretty wild.
Like real people. I still can't get over that. I don't know what they're doing. It's more like Mario Oddity. Hey, guys. It's so weird. But I don't know where they're going. It seems like they've totally gone full Sonic Adventure with this, with the proper songs with lyrics and people in it and dinosaurs. What is going on?
You can possess a T-Rex. You can possess a rocket. You can possess a Bullet Bill. I mean, like there's so much crazy shit going on here.
Tanks, fish, cars, Goombas. They showed so much, and yeah, I agree. It does seem a bit kind of like great. It seemed very celebrity and like all of this. Very. The thing is, I just trust Nintendo. I know, no matter how weird this kind of shit all looks, when you pick that game up, it's probably going to be like, oh, I can't believe no one's ever done this before. They always do their own thing, and it's normally, with the flagship stuff like Mario, it's always fun. So I'm betting this will be pretty good.
I just don't think
it's really hard to narrow down what the core theme of this is, and there's always a core theme. I mean, Super Mario Sunshine was the setting, but really mainly focused around that mechanic of
the water,
jetpack, right? And Mario Galaxy was about the effects of gravity.
I know what this is. I know what this theme is.
What?
Right, at the beginning of this game, Bowser kills Mario, right? And you become a demon. So the theme is demonic possession. So he's possessing people throughout the game. So this is Mario does demonic possession. They're making it in conjunction with the Catholic Church. It's going to be huge. So you gotta just trust. Look at Richard's face. It's like, I don't even know if he's kidding or
severely sleep deprived now. He's hallucinating.
It's gonna be like the haunting. It's gonna be that we're gonna have. It's gonna be serious, and it's gonna be about the effects of demonic possession.
Yeah, the hats is obviously going to be it, isn't it? It's the possessing different characters and obviously utilizing all their abilities and how they all combine, I guess, to help you progress through the game and things. So that's what that seems to be the core mechanic that they were trying to stress just by showing you doing lots of cool other stuff.
What I get the impression from Nintendo is this is the year we start to relax things a little bit. Like we're going to do this thing with Rabbids. It's going to be an XCOM game, but it's still Mario in there as well, and he's Mario with a gun. Like lo and behold, and all those characters, but we're going to start to relax our licenses a bit, and let's start to take these things in directions that we've never done before, and actually slowly move forward into the current kind of video game scape. And I'm excited to see where these things go. That's pretty That's pretty crazy. The one little other news bit that came from the conference was some guy from the Pokemon company came on and went, "Yep, we are making a proper Pokemon RPG for Switch." That is coming, but it'll probably be the end of next year and the earlier.
In other news, Water is Wet probably should.
But you say but you say that, but they don't make proper Pokemon RPG games for the home consoles. This will be the first time.
It's not really a home console, though, isn't it? Right? Yeah, that's the.
But it is their home console, but it's also their portable, so it is different. This is them saying we're going to do that. That's not. I don't think that was a certainty. I really don't, and I think that's cool that has been confirmed as happening. So that's it's exciting.
Well, a lot of people. Animal Crossing is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I was surprised that they didn't show that because it's without a doubt going to happen. Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't, but I don't know if they may show that in their Treehouse sort of sub presentations and other things that they may have. I don't know if they'll just throw it out there. Or if they'll save it for they have their own conference later in the year, don't they? In August, I think.
Yeah, and there's TGS as well. So there are places they can talk about that sort of stuff. So yeah, that takes us to the end of the conferences and to the end of our daily E3 shows. I think if we calculated it, that's about 3 hours, maybe more of podcasting we've done. Me and Joel over the last 3 days as well. If you include the prediction show, we're probably at about 5 hours. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed that content. There'll be more with bits and bobs at the weekend. Obviously, any big new announcements that pop up over E3 over the next few days they'll pop them up on the site and they'll be on the Facebook and the Twitters and stuff like that. So please get over to bxbgames.co.uk to check out all the latest, all the write-ups are there, all the videos are there if you haven't had a chance to watch stuff. I mean, we'll probably do final thoughts on E3, won't we, on Saturday, guys? And just see, we'll pick our favorite bits and our most disappointing bits and stuff like that and have a chat in general on Saturday. What time that is going to be at, I can't say I'm 100% on yet. We'll discuss that, but I promise to post about it up on the website and the social feed so you know what's going on. But yeah, thanks, guys. Has that been as much fun for you as it was for me?
Of my freezer as well on Saturday.
Well, make sure you eat all the ice cream. That's my suggestion. Always eat all the ice cream. I'm sure you've got.
I was going to say, if Richard's suddenly not here on Saturday, we know it's because he's ill. It's because he was forced to eat it.
Or forced to eat proper food that wasn't human.
This defrosted chicken, you could eat that rather than let it go to waste.
That's what they put in Huel, defrosted chicken. Actually, that's what it's made up of. That's why it's that sexy brown color.
Protein.
So thanks for joining me, Joel. Thanks for joining me, Rich, and we'll be back on Saturday.
See you then.
Cheers. Bye for now. Bye.